further, for understanding the hysteresis, with respect to the formation of domains, we will try to understand the graph of hysteresis, that how it is working with respect to domains. So first of all, let us have a graph of hysteresis for a ferromagnetic materials. The graph will be, as we all know hysteresis very well, that it will be something like this. Right? This is nothing but the hysteresis curve. Over here, this is H, this is B. H is nothing but the applied field. H is applied field, that is external, and mu, B is the induced magnetic flux, right? Magnetic flux. Density, that is induced, right? That is been induced, right? So this is BH curve. Now we want to understand this BH curve with respect to domain formation. So first of all, we will have a small domain. Right? And in that domain we will have the net magnetic moments like this, as we have already seen in the last topic. Now, how we can relate with this? Let us try to understand this. Okay, let us try to understand this curve with respect to the magnetic domains. Now, as the H is the external applied magnetic field, let me apply a weak field first. Weak field for a material, then you can see that we have already studied for a weak field the domains for a weak field, the domains will try to orient in this way, means any particular domain which is having the same direction, as to the applied external magnetic field, it will try to increase the area. This domain will try to increase the area for weak field, means means when h let us say that this is 0, then right, let us say this is 0, this is A point, this is B point. Now the point between O and A is for this weak field, this point is for the weak field, this up to OA is for weak field, where this magnetization, this B and H, this will increase up to this will increase up to point A in this manner by increasing the volume of the domain, right? By increasing the volume of the domain. Now again, if you increase the value of H from A to B, now remember this portion OA is a reversible boundary displacement. This is reversible. This is the reversible area where the magnetization can be reversed. Right? Now, if we increase from A to B, if we increase the value of H from A to B, then it will be a strong field over here. That will act as a strong field. Right? So the intensity of H will increase, applied magnetic field increases, and for strong field we will have stronger field we will have if the value of H is strong, if this value of H is strong, then dipole moments, then the domain resultant moments will try to orient themselves in the direction of applied field. They will try to orient themselves in the direction of an applied field. This is the case for strong field. Let me remove for weak field and let me write again. For weak field, this is for stronger field, right? So OB region is for stronger field. Again, if you increase, so you can understand that with respect to increase in the value of H, how the orientation of the net magnetic moment dipoles in the domain will change their orientation. Before this lecture, we have only studied, or we might be knowing that with an applied external magnetic field, if a material is heavy, if a material is trying to orient the magnetic dipole moments in the direction of external magnetic field, applied magnetic field, then it is known as ferromagnetic material. But how it is going to orient itself, that we are studying over here. It will have this kind of domain formation inside the material. When you have less H field, then it will try to orient with the increase in the volume of the domain. If you try to increase the value of H, then with the stronger field, it will try to orient the domain direction. It will try to orient the direction of the domains, magnetic moment direction of a domains in the direction of applied field. Now again, if you further increase the value of H, that is the saturation over there, magnetic rotation. Now this OB process is irreversible. Remember, this OB process, this O and B, this OB process is irreversible. This OB process is irreversible process. Right? What do you mean by irreversible process? Means even at this point, even if you make H is equals to 0, you will not get the value of B is equals to 0. There will be definitely some value. Of B. Right? That is irreversible boundaries. Okay? Magnetization. Now, this is point where it's going to saturate. This is the point where it is going to saturate. Let me harden the line so that you can understand. Point it will saturate. Right? This is the point it will saturate. Now, this is the whole region of magnetization with rotation of the domain walls. Now, if you increase or if you try to decrease from this point, if you try to decrease the value of H, from this point, and if you come at this point, then H will become 0. But at this point, you will have B is not equals to 0. Remember this point. This is known as BR. This BR is known as remanence. Right? This BR is known as remanence. Remember this word? This BR is known as remanence. BR is known as remanence. This BR is known as remanence. Remanence is nothing but the value of induced magnetic flux. Remanence is nothing but the value of induced magnetic flux when you have external field 0. Means हमने ferromagnetic में पढ़ा था. We have studied in ferromagnetism that even if you remove the external magnetic field, then the material will sustain some of the magnetic domains in the direction of external magnetic field. It will try to sustain some of the external magnetic field. Then that sustained magnetic dipole moments will give the value of BR. That is known as remanence. Right? Now, this is with the material possessing some of the dipoles moments oriented in the direction towards external applied magnetic field. Even if you reduce it to 0, this is 0. H is 0 and B is having some value over here. If you want this magnetic flux density, induced magnetic flux density, this Br, to make it 0, then again you have to give minus H. Again you have to give minus H up to this point. Again you have to give minus H up to this point. This is known as minus HC. This is known as minus HC. Remember, this HC is nothing but the coercive force, is known as coercive force. This HC is nothing but coercive force. Coercive force is the amount of external field required. This is nothing but the amount of this external magnetic field required. Remember, this minus sign is indicating that the field is in the opposite direction to this line. Remember, this minus sign is nothing but it's indicating the field is now in the opposite direction. The field is now in the opposite direction, right? So the external magnetic field required in the opposite direction, remember, in the opposite direction, to make this BR 0, to make this BR at 0 is known as coercive force. Is known as coercive force. Now this is what we have studied. This is what we have studied for the half of the portion. This is what we have studied for the half of the portion. This is what we have studied for the half of the hysteresis curve. The same phenomena is going to happen on the another half. The same phenomena is going to happen on the another half. The same phenomena is going to happen on the another half. Same is going to happen on the another half. That is how we are going to have the hysteresis curve. That is how we are going to have the hysteresis curve with respect to the understanding of the domain formations. With respect to the understanding of the domain's formations within strong and weak H. Within strong and weak H. This is nothing but H. H is nothing but the external applied magnetic field, right? So this is all about the hysteresis loop with respect to this is all about the hysteresis loop with respect to the understanding of domains. Okay? Further, the next topic is closure domains. The next topic is closure domain. Closure domains. Now, it's a very small topic, but let us understand that what are closure domains and how they are formed. Now, as I have discussed that the domain formation will have a very complex structure. It will have a very complex structure. But let us take one of the simplest one. Let us take one of the simple one to understand it. Suppose this is our material where we will have this kind of pattern, right? these are nothing but domains and these are closure domains. These are closure domains. These are closure domains. Yes, this is more complex structure as compared to what we have seen in the last one. That was very simple one, but in practice, this kind of structure will be more complex inside a material. Now, for inside a material, this kind of domains will try to shrink itself. They will try to shrink itself, and they will have intricate shapes. They will be having a complex shapes. Domains will have a complex shapes. They will try to form a complex shapes in order to reduce the magnetization energy and try to have a zero resultant atomic magnetic dipole moment. In that case, the boundaries associated with the materials will have a very small portions left unconnected to the bigger domains. This is the main basic domain, and these are closure domains. These are the closure domains. And these are basic domains. These are basic domains, right? So there are some directions which are more easier to form. That is, these directions are more easier for domains to form, to orient themselves, and these directions are hard to form. For the domains to grow up. So this is known as closure domains. These are basic domains. These are the easier directions. While these are the hard directions. So you will have a magnetic anisotropy. Why? Because you will have some directions where domain can grow easily. These directions domain can grow easily. Over there, these directions domain cannot grow easily because they are hard directions. And the amount of energy needed to produce stable magnetization in certain direction is known as crystal anisotropic energy. The energy required to make a stable magnetization for these domains, for hard domains, are known as crystal anisotropic energy. Right? So this is all about a small topic, closure domains. Okay? Thank you.